Today I leave for my annual fall photography trip. The last 2 years I've gone to the Smoky Mountains in the fall, and this year I was also planning to visit some other locations in Appalachia, but some friends invited me to accompany them on a trip to the canyon country of the Arizona-Utah border region, an area with which I'm very familiar but haven't visited in the fall for quite a few years. So I'm eager to see my friends and revisit this amazing landscape. Unfortunately, just a couple days before my departure date, a tropical storm developed in the Gulf of Mexico and threatened to come ashore right where I live. I was afraid this would delay my flights, and since my friends were planning to pick me up in Las Vegas, I didn't want to risk delaying or impacting the trip they were so kind to invite me on. So I made the difficult and costly decision to change my flights to leave a day early, hoping to avoid the weather. This plan worked as intended, the flights went just fine, and I arrived in Las Vegas with a day to spare. This would be the first major trip where I plan to use large format again. My friends will both be using digital, and I'm a bit concerned about not holding them up while I use my 4x5. So I'm also bringing a full-frame digital system with me in case I find that camera system mismatch with my friends too challenging. But I hope to use large format almost exclusively and really jump back into film on this trip. So after reaching my hotel, I had time to get organized, load some film, and await my friend's arrival the next day. This is the story of my fall 2019 trip to the canyon country of the desert Southwest. So here I am at my first setup today, actually the first one of the trip here in Zion National Park today. I'm in the Kolob Canyon section, and I worked on this subject behind me, these two trees, pine trees with the dead snag next to it, and a little bit of fall color at the bottom, and then beautiful reflected light on the sandstone wall behind it. And so it's been a little windy, and so I'm having trouble waiting for the wind to stop and hold still for a 2-second exposure, but I think I got it, so we'll see. But I've used some extreme movements on the camera here. You can see I've leveled up the back and the front standard to be level with or parallel with the trees, and then some front rise to keep everything in the image without having to tilt the camera up. So anyway, that's what we've done today, and it's time to pack up now and head on up canyon and see if I can find some more subjects to work on. Okay, well, I found another subject here in the beautiful Kolob Canyons. I have these snags behind me with some fall color and then a beautiful emerging arch up at top there. And still pretty windy, but I was able to shoot between the gusts and get some Provia and Velvia. So anyway, it's time to pack up once again and head on down canyon some more and see what else is there. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Zion. Well, I managed to find another subject, and this one, the wind was a little bit better, a little easier to manage, and it's just a nice little grouping of trees with the wall behind it. So some Velvia and some Provia and some Ectar on this one, so hopefully we get something. It's been a really good morning so far in Kolob Canyon. Well, it was a good morning, although it was very windy, as you could probably tell from the video, and it was a little hard for me to record some of my pieces to camera because there were a lot of people in this canyon. As it turns out, it's very popular with climbers, and there were so many groups coming through. It seems like every time I was ready to record a piece to camera, there was someone coming down the trail, and so it felt very awkward to me, and I'm lucky to get the pieces of video recorded that I did. But one person I met, it was really nice to meet Quinn. He's one of the co-founders of the Dark Slides photographic collective, and it was nice to chat with him, a fellow large format photographer, and I'll link to his information in the notes below. So I made 4 images this morning in Kolob Canyon, and they're not all great, but I wanted to show them all to you. And so this first image is okay. The structure's all right, and the wall behind it's a little messy, but not bad. I was able to shoot between the gusts and get a reasonably sharp image, so it's an okay picture and not a bad start to the trip. This next image is my favorite from the morning and one of my favorites from the trip overall. Like the last image, it's got a lot of reflected light, and somewhere in the video I said it's a sunny day, and of course there's no direct sun, but there's a lot of reflected light from the opposite canyon wall being reflected into these images, and it gives them a nice warm glow. I really like the elements of this picture and how those dead silvery snags are sort of the focal point. I really like that arch shape at the top, and of course the glowing wall is so nice. So I'm really glad to have gotten this image. This next image was made a little bit farther up canyon, and it was really remarkable here because at this point the reflected light was so strong, it was almost distracting how yellow and strong that light was. And I don't know if that comes through in this picture. I really liked the soft flowing grasses in the foreground and the trees in the midground. Not as crazy about the wall. Beyond it, I couldn't quite figure out how to arrange it to sort of work with that wall. But anyway, it's an okay image. And once I got that one, it was time to turn around and head back down canyon. So at this point, I had rejoined my friends and they stood around watching while I worked on this image. I kind of liked the sparse trees and the little jewel-like leaves just clinging to the near branches, almost like stars, and all that sort of coming up out of the chaos color at the bottom. So it was a little bit of a depth of field issue there, and I just sort of focused on the near leaves and let the back go soft. So that was it for photography for day one on this trip, and Kolob Canyon was sure a nice place to be. I really would have liked to have gone back to it another time during the trip, but we never had time to do that. But it's definitely a place to come back to in the future. So this was a longer than normal trip for me. I had 12 days of photography, but not every day was full enough to make a video, so I will organize this set of videos as episodes, and some of them will maybe just be one day, but others will be a combination of days. So thanks so much for watching along on these. I really appreciate it. I look forward to bringing these to you in the coming weeks. And I'm still working through scanning my images and just getting everything together, so I may not be every week that I get one of these videos out, but I'm working on them, and just stay tuned and they'll all come out as soon as I can. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.